Welcome to Sip and Say with Stephanie. Hey y'all, how's everybody doing this evening? I am doing amazing. Look, I got a new attitude, know where I'm going and I know what to do. I'm something, my point of view. I got a new attitude. Know where I'm going, my worries are few. I got the words wrong, but that's okay too. I'm something, my point of view. I got a new attitude. See, look, now I got to find the words. I couldn't remember the words at the time. But yes, I'm feeling good tonight, you all. I'm thankful. I'm blessed. I'm in control of my worries of you because I've got love like I never knew. Ooh, 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 ooh. I got a new attitude. Hey! So welcome to Sip and Stay with Stephanie. I'm just having a little fun, just being silly. One of the classes that I took this week for my wellness class talked about playfulness. And so we had to, we listened to the video, got the teaching, and then we had to talk about how we were going to be playful this week. And I was like, I feel like I'm already pretty playful. I like to sing, I like to dance around the house and things like that. But you know what? I'll be able to tell my fellow wellness colleagues that I was playful on my YouTube channel tonight, Sip and Stay with Stephanie. So I'm really excited to be with you tonight. I am feeling really good tonight. It's Thursday, so y'all know what I'm gonna say how I'm feeling. But other than my body, I feel really good. I've had a really great work week this week. I got a lot of things done. I feel like I was first, especially the first 2 days, I was like doing a little bit here, doing a little bit there. But it's all come together. Today it all came together. My little bit here, my little bit there on Monday and Tuesday came together a little bit yesterday and fully came together today. So I have to wrap up a few things for tomorrow. The Lord bless me to live to see it. But I am so ready. Hallelujah. Ready for another wonderful weekend. We have a really great celebration happening this weekend, and I'm really excited about it, and it's a surprise, and so I'm really excited about it. And I have a gift that I'm going to be given, and I haven't purchased it yet, but I know what it is. I have to actually go pick it up. And so yeah, so that's how I'm feeling. Really looking forward to the weekend, and I'm looking at the wind. I wish I would have put my windows up before I started sipping with Stephanie so I can tap into some of this cool breeze that I'm seeing happening outside. I think it's raining as well. It was raining on my way home today, and thankfully it was no storm. It was just rain. And the weather lady that I listen to in the mornings when I do turn on the news, she did say there could be rain on your evening commute or afternoon commute home. And so traffic was great. Like everybody was cool, smooth going on through. So it was really good, and I'm thankful for that. But that's me. How are y'all doing? How are you doing mentally? How are you doing spiritually? How are you doing physically? How are you doing emotionally? Hey, Aunt Wanda, how are you? I see her tears. So Aunt Faye might be feeling, she's got her tears emoji in the YouTube chat. So chat it up with me. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're feeling. You can add it to the comment section later. If you're on my podcast, you can come to YouTube. If you like the Stephanie Humphrey channel, leave me a message and let me know how you're doing mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Let me know how you're doing. Right now I'm full because I had an opportunity to eat dinner before the show tonight. What y'all have for dinner? I had turkey burgers with, I cut me some purple onions and some tomatoes. So I had a bunless. So I had to get my knife and fork out, put had my turkey burger, put my onion on top, and then I put my tomato on top, and I was slicing it up and dipping it in my, some mustard. And I had some potato wedges. I put some potato wedges in the air fryer, so that's what I had. I'm gonna have an apple for snack. I've had 2 bananas already today, so I'll have an apple for snack. And I have some hummus in the refrigerator that I might have a little bit later if I get hungry, but I'm definitely gonna have an apple before I go to bed tonight, potentially if I get hungry, So yeah, so I pray that you're feeling better, Aunt Faye. I have my what Oprah Winfrey calls the ugly cry last week. But all is well this week. I might have another one next month. Who knows? Because sometimes different life situations hit us at different times and in different ways. And so we never know how world situations, how life happenings, how family events, different things that occur in our world, both personally and maybe just out in our community or out in our state or, just in the world. We never know how that's going to affect us. I was thinking about, I mentioned, the death of Queen Elizabeth like 2 weeks ago, the Thursday it happened. We were doing Bible study that night. And so, of course, after she passed away, I was listening to some broadcasts and reading a little bit about and listening to some of the individuals that were under her rule talk about the colonization that happened, under her rule. And I even heard a person say, this was on the radio, that she should have already died. Like, she lived too long, she should have been dead. Just thinking about the oppression that happened under her rule and the colonization that happened in African countries under her rule. I haven't done an in-depth study about it, so just keeping, our conversation general about it. But we all have a right to our own opinion. We really do. I would have to do some research about the history of the colonies and the territories that she ruled over and see when the colonization happened. And there were some people in Africa that were talking about when this happened, how some of them lost family members fighting to prevent colonization from happening in their country. And so I'd have to do a little bit more research for myself, because again, I listened to the testimonies, I heard some reports about it, but have not done an in-depth study. And so that it is important for us to note that, because that's history. That's part of what happened under her rule and how it has affected, African people and other people long term. I was looking at her longevity. Like, she lived to be 96 years old. I feel like that's amazing. The longevity of her life is amazing, because so many of us do not live to be 50 or 60 or 75, and she lived to be 96. I believe that God graced her to live that long. I'm not saying that God blessed her as she colonized people, as she oppressed people. I'm not saying that at all. But she was blessed with longevity, with long life. And I appreciate that. I really appreciate anybody who God blesses with long life. Like, when I was reading about it, hearing about it, and learning about the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, and two other survivors. There were three survivors. Two of them were over 100, I think, at that time, in either 2020 or 2021. One was like, I think maybe 105. One was 102. It was a sister and a brother. The sister was older than the brother. She remembers more of what happened. I can't remember how old and I don't remember her name. I'm sorry, y'all. Maybe I can look it up as I'm talking. I don't remember how old she was when Tulsa massacre happened at Black Wall Street, but she could recall some of like her family in panic and trying to escape and not suffer from the murder that was happening in their town. Just the fact that both of that sister and brother were still living 100 years later, like 100 years, or for 100 years, not 100 years after the massacre. But I think that the brother was a baby. I think his sister and himself were saying that he was a baby when this happened. And so, but yeah, they're over 100, and I know they're still living. I'm gonna see if I can look up their names really quick. So I hadn't planned to mention them, so I didn't have their names ready. But just I appreciate longevity of life. I appreciate when God blesses individuals to live in their 90s and live to see 100. Like, I think that is so amazing. That is such a blessing. The Bible promises us 77 years, but when you can live past that, oh man, that blesses me to know, that God blesses other people to be to have longevity of life. So it was Miss Viola Fletcher was one individual. She was 7 years old when the Black Wall Street happened. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna open this up so I can, because like I said, it was three individuals that were still living from Black Wall Street. So let me see if I can get their names. Since I mentioned them, I really want to be able to say their names. So this report was from May 27, 2021. And let me see if I can get all three. So Miss Fletcher, who is now at May 2021, was 107. So I got her age wrong. I was thinking she was 105, but she was 107 currently, and then she was 7 years old when Black Wall Street happened. Let me see if I can see how old her brother was. All right, so Hughes Van Ellis, 100-year-old. So I got his age wrong too. So he was a 100-year-old survivor. He was, let's see if I can see how old he was at the time it happened. Okay, it doesn't say how old he was at the time. But the third survivor was Miss Leslie Benningfield Randall. She was 106, or she's currently at, well, May 2021, she was 106. And she mentioned about having survived 100 years of painful memories and losses. And so I do remember when they all testified about the happenings during the Tulsa massacre. And I listened to Miss Viola. I think I heard a little bit of Miss Viola's, but I tuned in when Mr. Ellis was giving his testimony. And man, I mean, to be over 100 years old and still remember that happened, and can share some of the details of that happening, lets me know that they had a sharpness of mind. Their mind was still intact. I mean, just listening to them talk, because I actually heard them talk prior to them testifying concerning the Tulsa Black Wall Street in Tulsa. I actually heard them on some video. I think when they were doing the commemoration, I think it was like a 100-year commemoration that happened in I think it was in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. I think it happened last year. And Roland Martin showed it on Black Star Network on his program. And just listening to the strength in their voice and their compassion and their passion and their just sharpness of mind, I'm just like, wow, God, because some individuals who live to be in their hundreds may not have sharpness of mind. Like one of my great aunts, my granddaddy's sister, she is 99. She turned 99 this year, or 98, 97, 98, 99. I think she turned one somewhere in there. And she has suffered from dementia, and so so that's the state that she's currently in. God has blessed her with longevity of life, and we're thankful that she's still here. And my granddaddy is 93, and his mind sharpened in mine, so I just appreciate, again, longevity of life and individuals who are still in their right mind, still able to live and drive and think and move about. That's such a blessing. And so that's how I saw Queen Elizabeth. Like, I don't know her history enough, but I just saw it as God blessing her with a long life. And it's just amazing. That's just how I saw it. And I would, again, have to dive a little bit deeper into some of her policies and practices. But, it just, so I just wanted to share. I had not planned to share any of that, but, sometimes it's just good to just sit and talk, kind of share your thoughts and talk. And this is Sip and Say with Stephanie. So that's what I do. Oh, my aunt, that's my aunt wanted to have the crying emoji because she said she was laughing at me singing. Look, don't even know the words. I'm gonna make up my own words. I got to tune on that. I'm make up my own words if I miss the words. And so, yeah, she said she was laughing at me singing, and she said she is doing great. Hallelujah. I'm glad that you're doing well, Aunt Wanda. So look, what y'all sipping on tonight? I'm gonna have me some muscadine tonight. I think I had the muscadine cider last night, but I'm about to pour me some muscadine, and that is what I am sipping on tonight. I had some water right before I came over to sit down. But what y'all sipping on tonight? I'm sipping. Oh, y'all want to see me pour it? I'm sipping on some muscadine, alcohol free, if it's any of your business. Well, y'all can tell it's alcohol free. Ain't no fizzes going on. Y'all know if it was some champagne and alcohol, be a little fizz there. I should have brought a napkin over because my bottle is condensing. Let me move some of my apparitions over here. So I'm gonna take me a sip of my muscadine. Let me stop. I'm laughing at myself when I say my apparitions. All my stuff over here. Muscadine is good. I got it from the Duplo Winery. I told y'all about last week. I bought several bottles. Y'all don't need to know how many I bought. And don't y'all be counting up my bottles as I'm coming on Sip and Say with Stephanie. Either don't be counting up my bottles. But I got several bottles between the muscadine cider, and the scarpinade from Duplo Winery. They're the only winery that I know that has alcohol-free wine. But if you all know other wineries that have alcohol-free wine, drop it in the live chat, drop it in the comment section. I would love to support that business, especially if it's Black-owned. I was looking for some Black-owned businesses that have alcohol-free wine, because that's what I enjoy drinking. Don't drink a lot of alcohol. And so, but I haven't found any. So if y'all, I haven't done an extensive search, but I just haven't found any in the search that I have done. And so if you all, if y'all know of any, please tell me. I would love to support their business. If you are a business that sells alcohol-free, alcohol, blame it up. Okay, that's a whole secular song. Let me stop. But if you all are a small business that serves and sells alcohol-free wine, let me know. I would love to try your product. All right, y'all. I got a special at the end for you all that I think I'm going to incorporate into Sip and Say with Stephanie moving forward. Okay, so something very special for you at the end. But let me get right into it. I have a little bit of news to share with you on tonight, and I feel like it's a little bit scattered tonight, but it's going to be okay. Just share a few things with you, and then I'll wrap it up at the end with some good stuff. All right. So I don't know if I'm about to take another sip, y'all, just because I want to. All right, y'all. So if you all of us remember the afternoon was what, May 25th, I believe it was, when George Floyd was killed. And I just have May 25th, 2020, I have a small update for you about that. So we already know that Derek Chauvin is serving 22 and a half years currently in prison for the death of George Floyd. He was convicted of, let me make sure I get it right. He pleaded guilty to a federal charge of violating, okay, that was Floyd's civil rights, and that was in July. Hold on, let me see. I can't remember. I think it was second and third degree. Let me see if it's on my front page, because I didn't even highlight it because I hadn't even planned this year. But y'all can look it up for yourself. He was convicted. He's serving in two. Okay, here it is. It was on the front page. I'm looking on the back page. So in April 2021, he was convicted of second and third degree murder, as well as a second degree manslaughter charge. He was sentenced in June 2021 to 22 and a half years in prison, like I just mentioned. But the other officers are still going through the process of, because they had a federal, case, and they had a civil case. So Thomas Lane, who pleaded guilty to second degree manslaughter in the killing of George Floyd, he was actually sentenced yesterday to 3 years in prison. His name is Thomas Lane. Of course, he worked for the Minneapolis Police Department. He's a former police officer with their department. He was the individual, or the police officer, that was holding George Floyd's legs down at the time that Derek Chauvin had his knee on his neck. And we all know that this happened for over 9 minutes, you all, where Derek Chauvin had his knee on George Floyd's neck, which ultimately resulted in his death. So Thomas Lane pleaded guilty in May to a state charge of aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter. Okay, and his attorney and the state prosecutors, they agreed, mutual agreement to this 3.5-year sentence, which is actually below the sentencing guidelines for this particular case. I did not even look to see what the actual sentencing guidelines are. I should have, but I didn't think about it at the time I was reading this. But a jury he's actually serving a 30-month sentence at a federal prison in Colorado after a jury found him guilty on federal charges of violating Floyd's rights by not providing him with medical care. So that was a federal charge. And then the manslaughter charge, he was sentenced to 3 years. So after he serves his 30-month sentence, he'll, get into the 3 years. So I felt like it was interesting to note, and I would need to do some research on predatory offenders, which I didn't do prior to the broadcast. But it is possible, if required by law, that Thomas Lane will have to register as a predatory offender. And actually, Derek Chauvin had to register for it. So Thomas Lane was trying to get an understanding of if Derek Chauvin was or has to register for this predatory as a predatory offender. Like, why do I have to? Because our charges, are a little bit different. So his lawyer said that he was going to look into it. So let me just see what the predatory offender is, because like I said, I didn't look it up prior to this. So this particular predatory offender is characterized by a person who hunts for his or her victim. That's interesting. And they use like an example of like a sex offender who like kind of, hunts for their predator and, commits a sexual act against them. So I think that's interesting. But if required by law, he would have to do it. But again, his lawyer is looking into it. But he wasn't happy about that. And he shared a few, things as to why he wasn't happy about that. Y'all can look it up for yourself because I can't say them kind of words. Anyway, the other two officers, J. Alexander Kong and Tao To, are scheduled to stand trial next month on state charges of aiding and abetting second-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. Okay, so they Kong, he helped restrain Floyd, and then Tao, he kept the bystanders pretty much, in line, or kept them away from where they were pressing down on George Floyd, where they were holding George Floyd in the road on the cement. Like, it wasn't even on the sidewalk, it was actually in the road where they were holding him down. And so he kept them at bay. So yeah, so that's an update about that. I am thankful that these former police officers have been charged, are being charged for the crime that they committed against George Floyd. Like, as I didn't watch the full 9 minutes or the full 9 minutes plus of the video, but the little bit that I saw of the video, I was heartbroken. The part of the clip that I saw, I looked at George Floyd and I was like, he's already gone. Like, he was already gone, even as they were still holding him, he was already gone. And if you can recall, he was calling out for his mom. I did hear that in the video. While he was still alive, he was calling out for his mom. But then there was a later part of the clip, I don't remember which minute it was at, and I looked at his face and I said, he's already gone. Like, that man, y'all need to get off him. Y'all shouldn't have been on him to begin with, but y'all really need to go out. He was already gone. I mean, and I don't even know what his, I know it's, been 2 years, but grief is grief. A death is a death, especially to see your dad, your brother, your nephew, your uncle, the life being sucked out of him by a knee on the neck and him being restrained. I can't even imagine what their experience was, during this, watching this video. And then of course, being present during the trial and with all the sentencings, that are happening now and different things. I don't know how they feel about it. In my mind, I feel like they're reliving it, because they're still working through the trial and the sentencing, the state, trial, because the federal, trials have already happened, but the state trials. And I just, prayers still go to the George Floyd family, to his daughter, his siblings, to his family. But before I move from this, I wanted it noted that Thomas Lane, he did try to, did try to de-escalate the situation. Like it was noted that it was noted that he was like, isn't there a better way? Can we do this differently? Like, can we handle this differently? Like, he did try to intervene at one point on George Floyd's behalf, but his intervention was not well received. So he continued to hold his leg. So he still played a part in the murder of George Floyd, because, in my mind, it would have been different if he would have tried to intervene. And if if Derek Chauvin or the other officers weren't listening, if he would have been like, look, I'm done, y'all. I'm not doing this anymore. Y'all, hands off. But he didn't. He continued to hold George Floyd's legs. And so, so he is, serving time for his part in the murder of George Floyd. Oh, my aunt said she's drinking water. Oh, amen. I outlined the amen. All right, so that's that. You know what, y'all? I wanted to mention that I don't know if you all, so I'm done with the George Floyd. I'm going to move on to immigration. I actually had this in my notes last week for Sip and Say with Stephanie, because I was reading it before we came on, before I came on. But you all know some of the Republican governors have been busing immigrants to sanctuary cities. And I can't understand why, but let me just read the article to you so you can have the information. So Texas Governor Greg Abbott noted last week that his state had bused more than 11,000 immigrants out of Texas to what we call sanctuary cities. 8,000 he sent to Washington, D.C., 2,500 were sent to New York City, and 500 were sent to Chicago. All of this has happened since August. 11,000 people. Some of the officials in these sanctuary cities have noted that Greg Abbott, and then I'm going to get to DeSantis, and some of the other Republicans that have done this, they have not given the sanctuary cities warnings that these immigrants were coming. So there have been nonprofits and other, community and health organizations that have band together to try to serve these immigrants, with food, with shelter, with clothing, with water, with health care, with mental health care. They are doing the best that they can to support these immigrants that are being sent to their city. Can you imagine the city that you live in receiving 11,000 people in a matter of a month, or a little over a month? Like, that's a lot of people to care for. And I really appreciate the churches and the nonprofits and the other community organizations that are helping the government officials in these cities take care of the immigrants that are coming. Some of the officials of the actual organizations, they've noted they're busting at the seams, like their resources are being stretched because so many people are coming. And again, sometimes they don't have a warning that these individuals are coming. And so Greg Abbott has done that. Also, last week, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, he chartered 2 planes, y'all. I don't know where he got the money from. I guess it was taxpayers' money, because I'm sure he didn't take it out of his pocket. But I feel like he used taxpayer money. I don't know if he did, but however he paid for it, he chartered 2 planes carrying 50 immigrants, and he dropped them off at Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts. Also on last Thursday on the 15th, 2 buses were dropped off in DC near the home of Vice President Kamala Harris, at her or near her residence at the U.S. Naval Observatory. And the reason why the governors are dropping these immigrants off in the sanctuary cities, or not dropping them off, but busing them, and in DeSantis' case, sending a plane, is because they're protesting Joe Biden's immigration laws or Immigration Act. And I'm gonna tell you about the Immigration Act in just a minute. But they're protesting because they feel like President Joe Biden, should have secured the border more so that these immigrants could not cross over into our country. And like I said, I'm gonna get to the Immigration Act in just a minute. I don't know I've never lived in another country besides the United States of America. And this is I've thought about living in other countries, but this is a country I've always lived in. I don't know what it takes for an individual to decide, I'm leaving the country that I was born in or raised in or lived in for however many years, and I'm gonna go to a whole new country. Oftentimes these immigrants, when they come, they only have the clothes on their back. Some of them may have like a handful of things that they brought with them, but oftentimes they don't have much coming in. Sometimes they don't even have, resources or money or anything. They're just coming, hoping to to seek a better life for themselves and their family. And so I don't know what it takes for an individual to decide, I'm crossing the border or I'm going to another country, not knowing what's going to greet me when I'm there, not knowing what's going to happen. I'm just going to go. And so we know that there's been a crisis, if you will, at the border with individuals crossing the border, usually in Texas with the Mexico and Texas line crossing. And I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know the answer or the solution to immigration. I don't know the answer or the solution to individuals crossing the border and coming into the United States of America. I know that we do have, like I said, we do have immigration laws and guidelines to help these individuals become citizens. But from what I can remember in researching it a while ago, it's a process. Like, it's not an easy process, and sometimes it can be a long process. And even in talking to individuals who have Latina and Latinx individuals who their parents have gained citizenship or another family member have gained citizenship, and actually talking to adults who have gained citizenship, it was not easy for them. It was a long, grueling process in some respects. And excuse me. And so I think it's just an ongoing problem that we'll have to continue to deal with. Like, I don't know, like I said, I don't know what would cause a person to leave their country to come to another country. I don't know what the conditions were in their country or in their community that will cause them to come over. But 11,000, that's a lot. Like, that's a lot of individuals coming into our country, especially, because somebody has to pay for them to be here, for them to get the supplies and the resources and the healthcare, mental health care that they need. And I was reading in the article where one of the community organizations, they are helping these immigrants secure like cash paying jobs, because obviously they're coming, they haven't like registered for a social security number, or they don't have citizenship. So, there's paperwork to do that so they can legally work here. So they're helping them get some cash jobs, which y'all know there's jobs out there available for anybody who wants to work. And so this particular organization is helping some of these individuals get, a job so that they can, start working towards their citizenship, and then, hopefully become a productive member of the United States of America, and hopefully even an American citizen. All right. So I just wanted to mention that because I feel bad. I was looking at the lines and watching a few of the videos. This was actually last week when I was watching this and reading about it, and then I read about it some more today. But some of the individuals that come over, y'all, they're beaten, like they're abused. some of the women have reported being raped. And so again, I don't know what it takes to come over not knowing what is waiting for you, or, and so um, and I was also reading that some of the individuals, whatever clothes that they wore, they have been wearing those clothes for days or weeks, or in some case, a month or so. And so I just, my heart goes out to them, because again, I'm thinking, I don't know, because I haven't talked to any of them, but I'm thinking they've come to our country to seek better opportunities for themselves and for their families. And then, so my heart goes out to them. My heart goes out to the cities that are working tirelessly to make sure that these immigrants are taken care of. And I wanted you all to know just a few of the sanctuary cities that I noted are Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, San Francisco, Providence, Rhode Island, Newark, New Jersey, Austin, Texas, and Portland, Oregon. Those are just a few of the sanctuary cities that are, helping these immigrants. And just so you know, in case you don't know, a sanctuary city limits their cooperation with federal immigration laws by providing sanctuary to immigrants. Oftentimes, these immigrants are waiting to go through the process of immigration. These cities welcome undocumented individuals. They provide help for them, and they also provide protection from them being deported, because oftentimes the ICE agents, they will not deport individuals or immigrants or undocumented immigrants. They will not deport them from sanctuary cities. So I just and y'all, this is Latino. Let me make sure I say it right. This is Hispanic Heritage Month. From September 15th, I had it on my notes for last week, and I did not want to forget to say it this week. From September 15th to October 16th, this is Hispanic Heritage Month. So it honors the culture and contributions of Latin Americans and Hispanic Americans. So for this to happen at any time of the year is horrible, but for it to happen during a time where we celebrate their culture and their contributions to America and to the world at large, it's just my heart feels so much empathy and so much love and compassion towards them. So y'all, let's just pray for them. Let's pray for the cities that are helping them. I want you to know that New York, Chicago, and Washington are the major cities that the immigrants are being sent to. And again, their resources are at capacity, but they still are doing everything that they can to help. Because these are human beings, y'all. These are our sisters and brothers. These are God's children. They're human beings that are being shipped to these cities, and I don't know if Governor Abbott or Governor DeSantis or their representatives or the other Republican governors that are doing this, I don't know what they are telling these immigrants when they're telling them get on this bus. I don't know if they're saying we're sending you to Chicago because they have jobs waiting for you, or we're sending you to New York because they have shelter for you. We don't know what they're being told. The article didn't say what the governors or what their representatives are saying to these individuals that they're shipping to cities, but I mean, they're human beings. They, deserve respect. And I don't know. I just feel like they're being mistreated in the way that they're being shipped to other cities. Now, once they get to the cities are really helping them, like Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C., and the other cities. They are helping these citizens as best they can with the resources that they have. But again, my heart, it really just goes out to them. Yeah, and it was noted that a lot, oftentimes, like I mentioned before, they're coming with absolutely nothing. They need some help. Yeah, they need some help. So yeah, so let's just pray for just everybody. I mean, we all need prayer, but let's pray, for the organizations and the nonprofits and the cities that are housing these individuals, that they have the resources and the strength and the capacity to continue to help these individuals with whatever resources. All right. And it just makes me sad. I've been homeless 3 times in my life, so I know what it feels like when you don't have anywhere to go. Thankfully, there were people who took me in, and I didn't have to like sleep in the street or sleep in my car, but I know what it feels like to be homeless. I know what it feels like to have nothing. Like, I know what it feels like to have little money. I know what it feels like to go hungry. I know what that feels like. And so my compassion for them is great because I don't understand what it takes to leave another country, but to have nothing and to have uncertainty in your life and don't really know if you're going to eat the next day or eat the next meal or whatever. I know what that feels like. So my heart of compassion is towards them. Yeah. So y'all, yeah, I'm gonna stop there with that. We okay, and I'm reading that the Republican governors are protesting, Biden's immigration law. I did say I was going to get into it, but I think I took the window down. So what I'll do is instead of getting into the immigration law, I will put the link for you to see it for yourself because let me pull it up. So I can't remember what day. Let me see if I can open it up. So there is a House HR 1117. It's a U.S. Citizenship Act. It was presented in 2021. Let me see if I can get the exact date for you. Let me open the link so I can get the exact date for you. So this was presented. It has not passed. But when President Biden was running for office, he did talk about immigration, not overhaul, but some changes in the current immigration laws. So this HR 1117 was meant to address it, you all, and it is long. I will put the link, as a matter of fact, I'm going to put the link in the chat in case you want to read it. And I'll also add it to the description after. So in case you want to read it for yourself. But it's extensive, like it's very detailed. Again, it has not passed. It was submitted on February 18, 2021. So about a year, a little over a year after President Biden, I mean, not a year, a month. I'm saying a year, a month after he was sworn into office. And it addresses the DREAM Act. It addresses agricultural workers, American Promise Act, visas, strategy for engagement in Central America. Like, it addresses several things, like the Central American Refugee Program, the Central American Minors Program. Like, it addresses a lot. And you all, as an educator and then as a special needs educator, I had quite a few Black children in my classroom as well as Latinx children in my classroom. And I also worked with a nonprofit organization where we work with first generation college students. They were actually middle school and high school students who would become first generation college students. And so I taught a lot of Latinx students, and I got an opportunity to talk to them about their home country, or they were born in America, but their family's home country, and how some of their family members are undocumented, and how some of the struggles that they dealt with in their country, some of the struggles that they have dealt with here as a young Latinx person. And so I'm thankful for that experience, because it was a few years I got to know them and sit with them and talk with them and just hear their passion and hear their heart for making change, in their community. And so I really, again, my heart goes out to my Latinx sisters and brothers. All right, so I'm going to end there with immigration. I added the link to the chat if you want to go back and read even some of the highlights of the U.S. Citizenship Act, HR 1177. Then you can do that. All right, I'm going to take another sip. My mom and my aunt are laughing at me because I threw my head back. There's a story there, but I won't share it. It might go with me to the grave, y'all. And if my mama try to tell it, y'all don't listen to it. Tell her, no, we. All right, so y'all, this is another sad story. I did not mean to do sad stories today, but my heart went out to this mom as well. So this happened in Houston, Texas. There was a young man. I don't know if I wrote his name down. I don't have his name, and that's okay. But he was killed, y'all. He was killed. What the police think is that he met with another man, and possibly they got in an argument, and he was murdered. So so that happened. But the thing about it is, so after one of the gentlemen murdered the father, he jumped in his black SUV and he took off. There was a child, a 2-year-old child in the SUV. Now, so the man who got shot, he was 38. He was shot to death. He was 38 years old, and it is currently unclear, or at the time that I was reading this article, it was unclear if the alleged murderer knew that the baby was in the seat, was in the car seat in the SUV. It's unclear, but they found the SUV 10 miles from where the alleged murder incident happened. Okay, and so this happened. Let me see if there was a time frame that this happens. So this happened about 1:46 p.m. on Tuesday. That this murder happened, that this man was found shot to death. They did not know that there was a child, that his son was in the car with them, until the wife, around 6:36 p.m. the same evening, she called 911 to report her husband and her child missing. And the details that she shared with the 911 operator immediately had the police thinking about this murder victim that they found at 1:46 that afternoon. And so when she reported, there was a child, so that's what they didn't know until she reported the missing. And they went to, they were able to find the SUV. I don't know how long it took them, but they were able to find the SUV. When they got there, they broke the windows to the SUV to get the baby out. They did try to revive him. They did call, 911, and the ambulance came, but they felt like he passed away in the car. And so it's unclear right now how the 2-year-old passed away. They don't know if it was because of heat or whatever. They are doing an autopsy to determine his cause of death. And so now we have this mom without her husband and her child. And I'm thinking that it didn't say that the place where they found the child at, if it was in an abandoned parking lot or in an abandoned, near an abandoned building. So I don't know exactly where the SUV was found, and or if it could have been in a parking space. But if the windows were dark, nobody would have seen the baby inside, and it could have been in a space where the baby, even if the baby had been crying before they passed away, and I say baby, he's 2, but even if the 2-year-old, the baby, call him baby, even if he was crying, he could have been in an area where no one heard him. It's possible the baby could have been asleep and didn't know, because y'all know how babies do. They will go to sleep when they ride in the car. I'm an adult, and sometimes I'm going to go to sleep riding in a car. And so the baby could have been asleep. The autopsy, will reveal all of that when they do it. But I was sad to hear this, and I appreciate the law enforcement, the police officers, and the emergency responders, trying to revive the baby, because, you never know, God raises the dead every day. You know what I mean? And so it's possible he could have, that there could have been life still in the baby, but, he did pass away. And so our prayers are with the mom and, it didn't say if the mom had other siblings or not, but our prayers are with the mom and her family. Okay. So just wanted to share that. We just, there are several, like I'm thinking about Facebook groups, because I have a colleague, and she's like she's a part of this Facebook group where they barter goods, like where they exchanging, like if you have this Keurig machine and I have like this baby car seat, let's swap. Like they do a lot of swapping. There are online, y'all know there are online sales sites where you can, purchase a car or purchase baby items or purchase bedroom furniture or whatever. Y'all got to close my windows, so I'm going to keep talking. I need to start closing my blinds and everything before I do my show, because I know it's going to get dark, but I'm about to get up and do it right now. So, there are sites where you sell things, where you can buy things. And, y'all got to be so careful nowadays. Okay, y'all, sorry about that. I need to do better. Look, I need to start making sure. So the first thing I do when I get home is throw off my shoes, usually wash my hands, clothes go flying so I can put some house clothes on, and I'm opening the windows and blinds because I love natural light. And I thought about it today. I'm gonna pour me some more muscadine. I thought about it tonight. I was like, I really need to close my blinds before Sip and Stay, because I know it's gonna get dark. Y'all, I didn't do it. And what I need to recognize is like the days are getting darker sooner. I feel like, because I think when I first started Sip and Say earlier this year, of course, the daylight there's more daylight during the, more daylight later in the evening, but now the days are getting darker, quicker. That's what I'm trying to say. You would think I'm drinking some real wine, right? Can't get my thoughts together. I'm gonna take a sip. But it's alcohol free. But anyway, so I was saying, there are so many sites where people are selling things and where people buy things, because a lot of times you can get some really good stuff for cheap. I only did at one time about 5 or 6 years ago, and it was on a job. It was for my job. I was assistant director of an early learning center in Raleigh, and this lady was selling, like, y'all, she had a bundle of toys for a little bit of money. And so I told the director, I was like, I really like check this out. What you think about this? She was like, okay, cool, let's get it. And the lady actually brought all the toys that she had to the center. And so we were all there. We received it. The toys were in great condition. There were 2 centers at the time, so we were able to share, the toys between the 2 centers, and that worked out very well. That's the only time I have ever met anybody as it relates to like an online selling or anything like that, because it could be good. You can get some really great stuff for a great deal, but it can also be dangerous, And we don't know, like the article just says that they think the 2 men were meeting for whatever purpose. We don't know, and the suspect is still at large. So hopefully they'll catch him, and maybe they can get some more details about what the exchange was between these 2 men. But currently, the police, they don't know. And possibly the wife can offer some insight, because maybe he told him, I'm meeting this guy for us to buy a new car or something like that or whatever. And so maybe the wife can shed some insight on that. But we just have to be very careful, you all, when it comes to meeting people. Even online dating, like, I do know people. There are 2 people that I know. One is a friend of mine. One is a colleague at a school that I used to work at. They found love online. Like, they did online dating. They're both married. I know my friend is happily married. Her husband, he's cool, and he's cool. I really like him. He's real cool. My colleague, we had her wedding, I'm about to say wedding reception, but her wedding shower at the school. And so I don't know how she's doing, because I haven't talked to her. We were not, close colleagues. We were just like a hey and a bye type of a colleague. And so I don't know how she's doing, but I do know that there are people who find love on dating sites, and it's, the intentions are pure, and the intentions are good and marriages have happened. And then, we've heard stories, you all, where a person meets someone online and it turns out deadly, like I should say it ends deadly. So let's just be careful. We know when we're meeting people, we don't know where, um, it's so if you can, it's okay to do some research, find out who this person is. It's okay to do that. If you're gonna meet with them, I would just suggest meet in a public place, where there's a lot of people. Meet in the day, and not at night. Be mindful of your surroundings. Like check out the car, but like is he by himself or is she by themselves? Or they got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people in the car. Like, just be careful. Be discerning, be prayerful, be careful. So again, my heart looked like, this is the baby, oh. So okay, all right, I'm gonna move on from that. Have y'all heard about this TikTok? So I don't have TikTok. I'm in the Stone Ages. I'm in the Stone Ages and I'm proud to be. Have y'all heard about this TikTok challenge? So I was on, what was I doing? I was on YouTube doing something. Who knows, looking at some videos, whatever I was doing. I was on YouTube and I saw it was a picture. I think somebody had maybe taken a picture. It wasn't the actual video. I don't think it was. It could have been. So it could have been the actual video, and how you see the picture to start the video, or it could have been a picture of this happening. But there is a TikTok challenge, you all, to cook chicken in NyQuil. So the picture showed that NyQuil was in the frying pan. It looked like an iron skillet is what it looked like. But there was 2 chicken breasts in the pan, and the NyQuil, like you can see the green or bluish green NyQuil in the pan. Y'all gonna try it? Are y'all gonna try to cook some chicken and some doggone NyQuil? Y'all, there have been several TikTok challenges that have happened over the last couple of years or however many years. I can't say. Again, I'm not on TikTok. A lot of times when these challenges happen, I find out about them like later, like months later. Sometimes I don't find out until the next year. Like I didn't even know until during the summertime, listening to Eddie B comedy. I didn't know that there was a TikTok challenge for our students to like hit their teacher or slap their teacher. I don't know if any of the, because TikTok appeals to a younger demographics like preteens, teenagers, and there are some adults that are on TikTok too, but I know it appeals to the younger generation. And so I don't know if any of the teens or preteens or the kids tried this with their teachers. All I can say is I'm glad I wasn't in the classroom. Well, my kids were my pre-K kids, and I don't, they wouldn't be interested in TikTok anyway, I don't think. But like for like middle school, older elementary school, high school students, I don't know if any of them ever tried it, but Lord, let me tell you, me and Jesus on the main line, I'm gonna have to tell him what I want. So there have been other, I'm trying to think, I was reading about a recent challenge. I think I reported it on Sip and Say. I don't remember what it was, but some of the TikTok challenges have caused death. Like it has caused death. And I don't know why these young people do these things that are dangerous. I don't know if it's because of they find it thrilling, or if it's because they don't have nothing else to do. Why not? It looks like I'll be okay. I don't know. I don't know what the appeal is. Like I really don't. I'm sitting here thinking about, well, what did we do when I was younger? Like what was the thing that appealed to us? I don't know. Drinking appealed to us, I mean, partying, like going to parties, that appealed to us. Of course, we're still in a pandemic, even though we're at the tail end. So I don't know how many schools, because we went to the school parties, and our community had parties at the Armory. They had parties for the young people, and me and my cousin we I think we only went to. I feel like I went to two. Me and her may have went to one together. I know we went to one together, but I feel like I've gone to more than just the one. And then there was this other place that my mom took us when we were younger. It was like some kind of youth dance party that we went to. And so those are the things that I felt like appealed to us. I don't remember us doing anything crazy outside of that Ouija board I was telling y'all about last week. Y'all, I had it wrong. I was not in high school when that Ouija board brought out. I think I was in 7th grade, if I'm not mistaken, because it was a young girl who lived in a trailer park up from my grandparents' house and then up from where my great aunt stayed, close to my great aunt's house. And so we had I think it was her birthday party, and we had it at her, we had a sleepover at her house. I think I was in 7th grade then. It wasn't high school, if I'm not mistaken. So that appealed to her. That didn't appeal to me, but I don't know. And we did what was it, y'all? The Bloody Mary, not Bloody Mary, that's a drink. It was like some type of I guess I could call it a challenge. Y'all remember the movie Carrie that came out? I watched it years ago, and then they had a recent Carrie, but it was something about like she was killing all the her high school chums at the prom. And so there was some kind of challenge, I guess I can call it, going out about you stand in the dark and you're facing the mirror and you're supposed to call Carrie or something like that. I can't remember. It's been so long ago, and yes, I tried to do it. Stupid. Trying to do it, trying to figure out what it was. Anyway, like those are some of the things I guess that appealed to us when we were younger. But like NyQuil, if you heat, like I was reading it. Let me read it, y'all. If you boil medication, it can make it more concentrated and change its properties. It could literally make you sick to do something like this. And so the FDA, they did put out a statement, more a warning. And so this is partly part of what they said. Social media trends and peer pressure can be dangerous. Excuse me, let me say that again. Let me say it how they spoke it. Social media trends and peer pressure can be a dangerous combination to your children and their friends, especially when involving misusing medications. One social media trend relying on peer pressure is online video clips of people misusing non-prescription medications and encouraging viewers to do so too. These video challenges, which often target youth, can harm people and even cause death. Y'all, please do not do these TikTok challenges. I don't know why young people do it. I don't even know why the people who make these videos, I don't even know why they put them out. I don't know if they need to get views or get likes, or they're trying to, boost up their channel because maybe it'll lead to monetization. Like, I don't know. I don't know why the challenges are put out there. I don't know why people do the challenge, but all I can say and encourage us to do is parents, grandparents, legal guardians, whoever is in charge of the children in the house, pay attention to what your children are doing. Pay attention to what they are watching. Pay attention to their social media accounts. I know that there are some parents who have parental controls on their children's social media account and on their phone. Check plus to you, kudos to you. Yes, do that. But there are some parents who like, well, I don't want to put parental controls. Like, I don't want to invade my child's privacy. Like, I don't want to invade their social media privacy or their phone privacy. If I'm paying the bill, I'm going to invade all kinds of privacies that I want to invade. Let me tell you, Matter of fact, I will take your phone for a month or 2 months or for 6 months or for a year if I feel like it, because I'm paying this doggone bill. And yes, I would have checked on their social media accounts. I would definitely do that. And talk about privacy, I'm gonna say it like Tyler Perry said it as Medea. You live in this house, there ain't no privacy. I will take the doors off the hinges. Don't play when it comes. You want to have some privacy, doors off the hinge, go in the bathroom. And I dare you to lock the door to the bathroom. I better be able to get in there, and I ain't gonna break my door down trying to get in. So let's just pay attention to what our children are doing. Let's just be aware, have some conversations with them. Let us know how they're feeling emotionally and mentally and spiritually and physically. Let's keep the lines of communication open with our children so we'll know what's happening in their life, with their friends, with their boyfriend or girlfriend, if they're dating, with their sports, with other organizations that they might be connected with. Stay in your children's space. Let me tell you, because if they are bullying, or if they are bullying somebody, but if they're being bullied, hopefully the lines of communication are open enough that they will tell you that, so that you can help your child through. There have been children as young as 8, you all, who have killed themselves because they were being bullied. And I don't know, that 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 12, they may not have expressed that I'm being bullied at school, mama. I'm being bullied at school, daddy. They may didn't have the words or the full comprehension to express that this is happening to me and I'm hurt by it. I'm angry by it. I'm sad by it. They may didn't have the words or the understanding to navigate their feelings enough to express them. So let's y'all keep the line, or they could have been a child that their mama always said, go sit down somewhere, don't come over here and talk to me, I'm tired. Keep the lines of communication open with your children. So if they are in trouble, or when they get in trouble, your children, they can come to you for help, for support, for guidance, for love, for care, for nurturing. And if correction is needed, for correction as well, So yeah, y'all, I don't know about this NyQuil challenge. I'm glad that the FDA did put out a statement to let young people and adults know that this TikTok challenge is very unsafe. And just so you know, the actual challenge wasn't, like I said already, it was encouraging people to cook chicken in NyQuil, or another similar over-the-counter cough and cold medication before eating. If you go look for it on YouTube, or if you do have a TikTok account, you'll be able to see it. At the time that the FDA put out the statement, they weren't sure how many people have tried it, or if anybody did try it. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if people need attention, or if it's attention seeking, or what it is. I really don't know. Because again, I don't know anything about TikTok except that it's for videos. Like, people do quick videos and things like that. Outside of that, I don't know much about TikTok. But anyway, my aunt, mom said, I said, y'all gonna try it? Mom said no. She also said, I'm frying in oil. Amen. If I'm gonna cook some chicken, it's going in the slow cooker, in the air fryer, or it's going in a pan with some oil. Or I have boiled chicken before. Like, when I'm gonna make a pot pie, I will boil my chicken on the stove. And so that's about all I'm doing with some chicken. Or if it's freshly, if it's already like pre-cooked, like I've got some chicken strips in the refrigerator because I made some salads. Y'all, I made some salads. Y'all, I might have to get one of my salads and show y'all. But I made some salads. I'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, that's how I brought that up to say I'm gonna chop the chicken and put it in a salad. Like, we ain't put no kind of medications or anything like that in the food. Like, no. my mom mentioned there is not enough quality time spent with parents. So the parents and the children don't spend enough quality time together. Children think they are invincible. They do. Attracts attention. Yeah. All of the activities on these social media sites is attracted to the flesh. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. The Bible does say that. And my mom also noted that children need positive training, they need discipline, and they need love. I totally agree. And my mom also noted that the destruction of our children before they live. So I'm thinking the destruction of our children before they, live into adulthood and, are able to live their lives. So y'all, let's just pray. Pray for the children in your family, y'all. Just if you have children, pray for them and with them. Your grandchildren, your nieces and your nephews, your little cousins. Let's just pray for the children in our family. Because there is a lot of peer pressure out there. I do remember experiencing peer pressure when I was in middle school and high school. My high school and middle school was a combination. It was 7th grade to 12th grade at that time, and so I do remember some pressure. I didn't get a lot of peer pressure, but I did have some peer pressure when I was in middle school and high school. The peer pressure that I succumbed to was drink. Like I never got drunk. Like never, ever, 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 never have I ever been drunk. But I would take sips of alcohol. And since we're all adults now and not in school, there may or may not have been alcohol brought to the school and drank at the school. Maybe, maybe not. So I did take some sips. Like never drank. I probably never even drank like a half of a glass. Like they were, but anywho, I'm too old to get in trouble for it. I'm over 21 now. But we did, like that's the peer pressure that I succumbed to. There was peer pressure to curse. Like I don't curse. Like I do not curse in conversation. So there was like pressure from one of my friends when I was in, I think, sixth grade to curse. And I was like, why you want me to curse so bad? Like what's the appeal? Like, what is it? And so she said, well, just say this. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna say it. And I eventually said like one word. And she was like, yes, Stephanie curse. I don't know why it was such a big deal. I don't even know what the word was. It wasn't a harsh curse word. But I don't know what it was, but I do remember saying it. And she was like so excited that I said a curse word. And I was just like, okay, I'm glad that I made you happy. So that wasn't, I didn't have a lot going on as far as peer pressure. Yeah. So anywho, just know what your kids doing, know what's going on. Yes, okay, I'm gonna start right there. Let me keep moving before I get into some more trouble. So I really wanted to mention, because it's 7:49, I'm actually moving rather quickly, I feel like, but I just wanted to mention this to you all, for those of you who don't know, that the Jackson water crisis is still happening. Like, I mean, everybody on the face of the planet, I was about to say earth and planet together. Everybody on the face of the earth, everybody on the planet needs clean drinking water, needs clean water to bathe, needs clean water to wash your hands, needs clean water to wash your clothes. Like we all need clean water, and clean, washing water, clothes and body, and then clean drinking water to stay hydrated and to nurture our bodies. In August of this year, there was historic flooding in Mississippi, and it damaged a major water pump. Excuse me, let me say it right. A major pump at the O.B. Curtis Water Plant, and that is the main water treatment facility in Jackson, Mississippi. As a result, it left about 150,000 Mississippians without drinkable water. I don't know if you saw any of the videos, but I did not mean to watch a video, but I think I was watching a news broadcast, probably was Roland Martin, and he was talking about it on his show, like when it happened. And one of whoever they were interviewing, like I think they were just showing a video as he was talking, and one of the Mississippians turned on the water and it was brown water coming out of the faucet. It is important for us to note that Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, has mostly Black residents. There are, according to the census, there are 82.5% Black Mississippians in Jackson and 16.2% white Mississippians in Jackson. They are, and I just paused because I was just thinking, like, man, so they've been drinking, like it was initially told to them to boil their water, but then, I mean, you can't boil brown water. So they eventually started passing out water bottles to the citizens in Jackson. There were some churches and other community organizations, supporting this effort to get bottled water into the hands of the people in Jackson. Their mayor, Mr. Lumumba, I don't want to mess up his first name, Chakwi, maybe, Antar Lumumba, he noted that he feels like the crisis, what attributed to the crisis was staffing shortages, system issues, and multiple equipment failures. And this is a quote from him when he was on ABC News Prime. He shared, "This is due to decades of possibly 30 years or more of deferred maintenance, a lack of capital improvements made to the system, a lack of a human capital, and a workforce plan that accounted for the challenges that our water treatment facility suffers from." All right. And so it is important to note that over the last 40 years, Jackson has become a result of white flight. And that's when white people start moving out of neighborhoods to go to other people because it's starting to get too Black for them. And so with these white families that have moved out of Jackson, the taxes that they were paying with them, and so with the lack of taxes to support the infrastructure in the community, that they feel like, or it is thought that contributed to the failure in the system. I also want to note that there have been millions of dollars that have already been poured into Jackson, Mississippi to support them. They are actually set to receive, well, let me say this, which is so it did receive $30 million last year. They're set to receive $26 million in the state revolving funds this year. And they have noted 13 million is currently being spent to help, this water crisis that they're having in Jackson. So apparently, like the mayor said, this has been going on for a lot longer than this particular water plant system failing during the flooding. In December, the EPA announced that Mississippi would get nearly 70 million for water infrastructure projects as part of the bipartisan infrastructure law. Y'all remember me going over the infrastructure law that President Biden passed. And so they're getting, it says, about 75 million in monies as part of that law, signed into law November 21st. Also in the next 5 years, Mississippi, Mississippi, rather, the state, is expected to receive $400 million through this infrastructure law. That's a lot of money. I don't remember how much money, I think it was in the billions. Maybe it was 1.2 billion or somewhere around in there, was given to support states with the infrastructure law. And so I'm hoping that Jackson and, Mississippi and Jackson and the other cities in Mississippi that need it, that they will use the money wisely to support the systems and infrastructures in their state so that this won't happen again. Hopefully this will not happen. I also want to note that Jackson runs its own water. This article notes Jackson runs its own water, making it harder to fix the system because not enough taxes are being collected due to shifting demographics, that white flight. And so, you gotta have taxes to do things that are needed in the community and in your state. So, and of course, you can read more about this on your own, about this water crisis. They like who said this? So there's a gentleman from the Lafayette School of Public Affairs at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. His name is Manny Teodoro. So he feels like systemic problems have been an issue in Mississippi, which he's right about that. There is racism is still alive and well in Mississippi. Don't get fooled. But he feels like the water crisis is well, let me just read this quote. The disaster is a legacy of racial hatred, but also the work of leaders who found it politically expedient to ignore the city's water problems for decades instead of solving them. Last thing I'm going to say about this is there are Jackson residents who have filed a federal class action lawsuit against the city, past and current city officials, okay? In addition to the infrastructure engineering companies for their purported or alleged role in this water crisis. So stay tuned to the lawsuit. Don't know what it is or what it's going to look like, but the citizens have filed a lawsuit. A federal class action lawsuit. And this actually, when I was reading this article, it put me in the mind of Flint, Michigan. You guys remember Flint is predominantly Black, and how they had, when they switched how their water was being received to the community, it caused some contamination to come to the water, and they had a water crisis for several years. And I feel like they may still be recovering in Flint, Michigan. And so, I remember there were children that were getting sick in Flint, Michigan. I don't remember if anyone died from it, but the children were getting sick in Flint, Michigan. And that is one of the ways that they found that there was some lead. Yeah, so they lost 12 children. I'm sorry, they lost 12 individuals, and then I don't know how many of those were children, so it doesn't say. So the children ingested the lead. I do remember them talking about that, but it doesn't state how many, individuals passed away. But so anyway, the Jackson water crisis reminded me of Michigan, both of them in predominantly Black areas. Yeah. And y'all, now since I'm talking about Mississippi, I am gonna say this. Because this, and I'm gonna read my mom's comments in just a minute, but this goes in line with talking about children. I don't know if you all heard about this, but the Mississippi governor, Bill Bryant, and Brett Favre, I don't know how to say Brett Favre, Favre. He is a former quarterback. I don't know who he played for, but he's a Hall of Famer. He's a former quarterback. Anyway, the Mississippi governor and Brett Favre have been exchanging text messages. It's come to light that they have been exchanging text messages that indicate that millions, that 100 million, if I'm not mistaken, but millions of money, they were siphoning millions of money from a federal program that was meant to help the poor, and the children. And these two individuals, amongst other individuals, worked to steal money from children and from the poor. How low can you get to steal money from children and the poor? The Bible tells us to take care of the widows and the children. Sometimes we think widows as being like older people, but widow, can be in their 30s or 20s. But anyway, the Bible says take care of the widows and the children. And these folks in Mississippi stealing from the children and from the poor. So there is a nonprofit manager. Her name is Nancy New. She was also involved in these series of text messages that have been like, you can see them, like somebody, I don't know who released the text messages, but Nancy New, who was a nonprofit manager who was involved in these text messages, she actually gave the text messages over to the authorities. But I don't know who leaked them, like if she did or if they did or whatever. If it's public knowledge now that it's in the hands of the authority, I don't know. But anyway, I was reading these text messages, y'all, because they were on social media. And I was reading about this last week. They were on social media because Brett is like, can this be traced back to us? Like, will anybody find out? Will the public find out? Will the media find out? Like, he was trying to make sure that nobody ever found out that they were stealing money from the poor. So anyway, this nonprofit manager, Nancy New, she and her son pled guilty to misusing public funds in exchange for their testimony against the other individuals. John Davis, who at the time that this happened, he was the state welfare, the state welfare agency director. He was also accused of helping the governor and Brett and Nancy New and whoever else siphon this money from the poor, steal this money from the poor, but he has pled not guilty. What y'all think? Add it to the chat, add it to the comments. How you gonna steal from the, like, I don't know how much money the governor of Mississippi makes. I don't know how much this Nancy New makes. I don't know how much this John Davis makes. I don't know how much Nancy New's son makes because he would play guilty as well. I don't know how much money Brett Favre still has in his bank account. But I'm thinking they got some money and they still taking money. Like, it's like the rich stealing from the poor. Like, you got money, but you taking money from those who need it most. Like, are you kidding me? Send all they hind parts, like all of them need to be in jail. Gather all of them up and send them hind parts straight to jail. Hear me. Send their tails to jail. I digress. But what y'all think about this? Like, people in high positions stealing money, embezzling. Well, this is not an embezzlement case. I don't think it is, but I'm thinking about, I was reading an article of another city or state official who embezzled $150,000. People in high positions stealing from people who need it the most, or for people who the money is supposed to be used for. Like, if you're stealing city money or county money, that's to be used for the city or the county, for the constituents, for the citizens. These folks is stealing from a federal program. Send their tails to jail, dog, on it. And I think they still walking around chilling. Send them tails to jail, stealing from the poor, stealing from children. If I'm not mistaken, it was $100 million. I'm gonna look it up real quick to make sure that I have it right. But I think it was 100 million, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look it up to make sure. Okay, I gave them too much. So this article says 70 million. He got about 8 million for himself. So we'll say about 70 million. That's still a lot of money to be taken from. If it was 1 million, it's still too much money to take from money that is supposed to use to support the citizens in your state to help them. I don't know what the money was for. I don't know if it was for community programs, after school programs, food programs. I don't know what the money was for specifically, but for whatever it was sent to be used for children and for the poor. 70 million. I got my figure wrong, and y'all might see another figure somewhere. So it was millions. I'm gonna just say it was millions. Make them pay it back. Yes, I want to make them pay down to the penny. Make them pay it back. Like they should be I want to know why they still walking free. I digress. I'm gonna take a sip. Calm my nerves. And I'm gonna say it. Most of the poor in Mississippi, I don't know this for sure. I don't know the statistics, but I'm thinking most of the poor in Mississippi are Black people, or they're Black citizens. And of course, Mississippi still has some deep-seated racism, even today in 2022. Don't care about the people they're stealing from. Don't care about the people that will not have the resources that money was sent to help them with. It's so horrible when people in power take advantage of their position. It's horrible. Like it's man, that's why we have to be so careful. Yes, I'm about to talk about voting. That's why we have to be so careful who we vote into office at the local level, at the state level, at the federal level. We need to be so careful who we vote for, our city council people, our county officials, our mayors, our governors, our U.S. senators, our state House of Representatives, our state legislators, and then our U.S. legislators, our U.S. House of Representatives. Like, we need to be so careful who we vote into office, you all. I'm telling you. Just made me mad. Just made me mad. So anyway, my mom noted when we were talking about the crisis in Mississippi with the water and Flint, Michigan water crisis. She noted it sounds oh, okay. I think mom noted this when I was just talking about them stealing the money from the poor. Anyway, mom noted it sounds like they are getting the money. How is it being allocated? She also noted in the chat, do you think they are neglecting them to manipulate them during voting time? You know, I don't know. I think you're talking about the Mississippi and the people in Mississippi. I really don't know. I mean, I can't say. I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that. So I don't know. I'll let you draw your own, conclusion on that. What do y'all think about that? My aunt Wanda noted some people don't need to be in charge of other people's money, and that's correct, because that money comes from taxpayers. Any type of money that is poured into communities comes from taxpayers. That's why we have to be careful who we elect in office, because like we're paying state taxes and we're paying federal taxes. Federal dollars is what's poured back into states so that states can pour that money back into communities. As an EC educator, I have a dual license as a regular education, teacher, and an EC, a special needs education teacher. I have a dual license. I am paid by federal dollars. There is a federal program that supports education, and so that money is poured into my state and my county for my paycheck. It's federal dollars. I do get paid some county dollars as well, but most of my salary, if not all of it, comes from federal dollars. So my taxpayers are being siphoned in back to my paycheck or your paycheck or somebody else's paycheck. But that's how federal programs are funded. Like state programs are funded through state funds. Local programs are funded through local funds, but also those state and local get federal dollars, depending on what the program is, they get federal dollars poured into them. And so I agree, some people should not be in charge of other people's money. Like I don't know, like the checks and balances. And so we have the governor of Mississippi who is working with these other individuals to steal this money. I don't know what the checks and balances is for the governor. Like I'm thinking, you got the lieutenant governor, you've got other individuals at the state level. Like nobody is checking. Like you got the state treasurer. Like was the state treasurer of Mississippi not paying attention to how this money was being used? Or was the state treasurer in on it? It doesn't say that the state treasurer was in on it. So I don't want to put it out there like that. But like, where was the checks and balances for this money that was being taken? I didn't do an extensive research, so I don't know if this money was being channeled through this nonprofit that this young lady who pled guilty, she's involved in. I don't know like how the money was funneled through Mississippi, but I agree. There are people that should not be in charge of money because it's like there is $70 million in front of me. I have access to $70 million of money that is not mine. It's gonna take the Holy Ghost for me not to, I'm not gonna steal nobody else's money, y'all. I won't do it. But I'm just saying, let me just say, for some people, you're looking at that $70 million flashing on the screen. For some people, it's gonna take the Holy Ghost to keep them from accessing that money into their personal funds. For me, the Holy Ghost would beat me up so bad. Even if I thought about it, like the Holy Ghost would get the whip, like Jesus got the whip out with the money changers, the whip would come out and I would be beat so bad I couldn't do it. But I don't want to anyway. Like I don't want to take anybody else's money. I'm not an embezzler. That's just, I've never done anything like that. Because I don't want to deal with or have access to anybody else's money but mine. Like I have a team of individuals that I work with that I am responsible for making sure they get paid. I don't mind that, but I tell them, I don't want to touch you. I don't want to be involved with your money. You give me your time sheet, I'm gonna get it signed and get it to the right person. That's all I want to have to do with it. But I'm responsible for making sure that their time sheet gets in and that they get paid, And like I said, that's something small. It's just a small group of people. I don't even want to do that. More or less have access to or have to manage millions of dollars. Like I am not a financial person. That's not what I do. I can budget my own funds and I can work it out myself. But I know I don't want to. Like I just don't want to. But anyway, hey, creative hands, how you doing? But yeah, y'all, so now what are the people gonna do? Like I don't know what happens, you all, when money is embezzled. Like I've heard of like embezzlement cases where the individuals do have to pay the money back, like to a city or to a state or to an organization. In a situation like this where they took federal dollars, I don't know if there are other federal dollars to be poured in to make up for the federal dollars that were stolen until that money is paid back, if that is the expectation. Like I don't know if more money is going to be given to help these groups of people, these poor individuals, these children. I don't know. If they do make these, the governor and Nancy New and her son and John Davis and Brett Favre, if they make them pay it back, like how are they going to give them a time frame? Like, are they going to say y'all need to have it paid back by December 31st, 2022 or January 31st, 2023? Like, I don't know, how this is going to play out, but I'm going to be watching because I think they should have to pay, like my aunt said, every single month, every single penny that they stole from this federal program, they should have to pay it back. I agree with that. All right, y'all. I have one more thing I want to say, and I'm done. I've already told you, y'all, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. So happy Hispanic Heritage Month to all my Latino, Latinx, our Mexican Americans, our Hispanic Americans, our Latino Americans. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month to you. Again, September 15th through October 15th, we are celebrating the contributions that they have made to America and to our world at large, and the culture. We are celebrating their rich history and their rich culture. So celebration to you, to my Hispanic and Latino American sisters and brothers. All right. So y'all, or how do they pay if they are in jail? Assets. They get to their assets, investments, stocks and bonds. If they got a house, to sell that house. Like, they have ways to get to their money, because their assets can be frozen. Just like, because I believe, I don't know if they did or not, so I'm gonna say, but yeah, they can freeze their assets and get their money and do what they need to do. I'm not saying that they will, but that is one way. If they are in jail, that's one way to get the money back, to freeze their assets and to use that to pay back the money that they stole. And they better get them quick, because they might try to transfer that money, somewhere else. I don't know, but that's one way to get it. So y'all, I think I want to start doing this at the end. I'm going to wrap up Sip and Say, but I think I want to start doing this at the end of every Sip and Say with Stephanie. Just leave you with something encouraging and something to lift your spirit and something for you to think about. So I started thinking about mental health, and like, mental health is, I don't know if it is a major crisis as it once was, but because I believe that people are starting to talk more and open up more and get therapy sessions lined up and attend therapy sessions and go to counselors and psychiatrists and psychologists. Like, I feel like people are more open to receive the help that they need as it relates to their mental health. But I want to encourage us, if you have a loved one, if you are the loved one, if you have a loved one or a colleague or a coworker, someone that expresses their need for help because their mental capacity is low, or they are suffering from depression, or whatever the case may be, I want to share some tips with you to support them, okay? So I'm getting these tips. I'm going to share the link with you right now. I am getting these tips. Remember, I talked to you maybe a couple of Sip and Says ago about the Black Women's Health Imperative. You all, if you can, subscribe to their channel on YouTube. They have some amazing workshops as it relates to mental health, as it relates to women's health, in particular Black women's health, because it is a Black women's health imperative. They have some amazing videos, resources, workshops. I went to their anniversary celebration last year. They did it online, and it was one of the best celebrations I've ever been to. I was introduced to a sound bath. I'll try to find the sound bath link and add it to the description. Let me write it down. And I was we did some yoga, and I was introduced to a sound bath. I had never heard of a sound bath before, but it was a beautiful experience. Now, some of the listeners might think that's a little odd. Once you see the video, you might think, this ain't right, like this ain't spiritual, but it was a spiritual experience for me. And so I'll share it with you, and you can decide if it's something that you want to do or not. But anyway, they have some great videos. They have some great information. I know one time the singer Sierra, she did a serving session that talked about our cervix and taking care of our cervix. Like, they have a program for individuals who might be like pre-diabetic to help you with your health. and eating habits and things like that. Y'all, they just have it's a wonderful resource for Black women and for the Black community. So I encourage you to check out their website, subscribe to their channel, and just glean all of the information that they have to give. All right, so back to our mental health. This particular article is called I Gotcha. Mental health, your friend and you. Again, this is not mine. This is on the Black Women's Health Imperative website. It was actually published on July 25th, 2017. So look, y'all, if you have like I said, like I already said, a friend and family member, coworker, or someone who needs to talk to you because they're struggling in their emotional health, mental health in particular, these are the things that you don't say. Okay, so don't say, girl, just calm down. Like, get it together, calm down. It's not that serious. Don't say that. Get over it. Don't say that. Have you thought about, and then you end up giving a scenario to try to, help them or kind of give them an answer to their problem or a treatment to their problem? Don't say that. Why can't you just be happy? Don't say that. Those things will, in my opinion, without reading all of the information that they have, because I want you to go back and read the information that they have under each heading, I think that will make the situation worse. It might put a breach in your friendship. It might get to a point where they don't trust you or they won't come to you anymore when they're struggling with their mental health or struggling in another area. So let's show empathy to our family, to our friends, to our coworkers if they come to us with a struggle, okay? In particular, a mental health struggle. Okay, so don't do those things. But these are some things that you can say. How can I support you? How can I help you? Are you getting treatment? Like, are you going to therapy? Are you getting some help? Are you getting treatment? Do you need some space? That's a good one. Because sometimes they're sharing their struggles with you and they just need some time to themselves. They need some time to think it through, to pray it through, to go to therapy, to work it through. So, do you need space? You go, girl. Like, you got this. Like, I'm with you. We gonna get through this together. Like, you go, girl. Okay. Especially now, this particular part, you go, girl. It says, okay, you'll probably want to find a more current way to say this, because we used to say you go, girl, back in the day. But when your girl has been working hard, let her know that you're proud of her. So if you have a girlfriend, a colleague, a coworker, a loved one who's been working hard, they started a new business, they launched out a new product in their business, they got a promotion on their job, they got an elevation at church or in their ministry, they started a nonprofit, they wrote a book. Support them. Be like, you go, girl. Like, girl, you doing the dang on thing. I was talking to a coworker today, and I'm not gonna say her name. I don't think she'll mind me sharing this, but she got a new car. And she had been without a car for about a week or so. Y'all, she got a luxury car, and it's nice. That thing is nice. So when she had driven into the parking lot, so I only saw half of the back because I can tell a car normally, but I thought it was a Mazda because of the way the symbol looked. Y'all, when she pulled that thing out and we were talking under the shade tree, and somebody needed to get in, so she pulled out and moved over in the parking lot. And when I saw it came, she was driving toward me because I was standing under the shade tree. I was like, girl, congratulations. Like, I was celebrating her. I was so excited for her that she got this new car and this luxury car. I was like, you're doing it, girl. Go ahead. And she was like, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. And then she started expressing the negativity that she had received from other individuals about this new car. Why we got to do that to each other? Like, why can't we just celebrate each other? Why can't we just say congratulations? Why can't we just say you did that, girl? Why can't we just say you go, girl? But there was some negativity that came at her, and my heart sunk a little bit for her because I could tell it affected her, you know. But I was like, girl, don't even worry about that. You doing this. I was like, you got these leather seats. I'm like, girl, this is got you a sunroof. Like, I was like pumping her up because I was genuinely excited for her. I'm like, girl, like that is a nice car. Like, it's a used car, but whoever had that car, like they took care of, man, they took care of that car. It is nice. And so I was like, girl, you're doing better than I'm doing. Like, it was a beautiful. And so, she was like, thank you. Like, she was like, thank you. Like, I believe in lifting each other up. I believe in supporting each other. I believe in congratulating each other. Like, I don't have any reason to tear anybody down. You know what I mean? And I know I probably still have work to do in that area. But for my girl, my colleague, I was very excited for her. And so I believe we should celebrate each other. Celebrate each other's strengths. Celebrate when we're doing well. And when we're not doing so well, be that support. Be that support. Do you need some space? Are you getting treatment? How can I support you? How can I help you? Sometimes, I don't know if you all have seen the video, Fred Hammond's I Will Trust. If you have not seen that video, go to YouTube and look it up. It's I Will Trust. I will trust in the name of the Lord. So watch that video. In the video, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but there's support that's going on in this video, and it is a beautiful video. Like, I might go back and watch it tonight before I go to bed. And that video came to mind because sometimes when our girlfriends need support, sometimes all they need us to do is just to sit with them. Just to sit with them. We don't have to say anything. We just sit with them. Sometimes we might hold their hand and sit with them. Sometimes we might hug them and sit with them. Sometimes we might even hold them if they allow that and sit with them. But sometimes just the power of your presence can be enough to lift up your girlfriend or lift up your sister friend or lift up that loved one. Sometimes just being there. Y'all know the song, Just Having You There, Having You There. And it's talking about God. Just having the power and presence of God in my life is such a blessing to me. And having the power and presence of people is such a blessing. When people show up for you, when you're struggling, when you're going through, it is such a powerful ministry, the power of presence. So again, let's support each other in our mental health, okay? All right, so I added the article to the chat. Read it at your leisure. And again, I think I want to end all of my broadcasts, my Sip and Say broadcasts, with something uplifting, something that will support us, some strategies that will help us, some tips that will help us. If you have an idea of something that you want me to talk about or strategies that you want to have, like about eating healthy or fitness or the yoga practice that I'm doing, put it in the chat, add it to the comment section, and I will do some research and give you some strategies that I don't know, but I'll also get some strategies from licensed professionals who have trained for this and studied for this and have experience and education in this. But yeah, so just let me know if it's something that you want to hear about or you want me to talk about, and we'll hit it in Sip and Say. And I might even, maybe next year, I don't know if I'll do it before the end of this year, I have been thinking about maybe inviting people onto the show that are experts in a field or who have more education or more knowledge or more expertise in an area. So it's something that I've been thinking about. And so we'll see what happens. If the Lord blesses us to live for 2023, we are going to keep doing Sip and Say with Stephanie. So we'll see what the Lord says about it and see if I can go ahead and start lining up guests for next year, if that's something that we're going to do. Okay? All right. Just throwing that out there. Y'all pray for me as I'm moving and shaking in the area that God is calling me to. Amen. Amen. All right, y'all. Pocketbook Exchange is October 5th, 6th, and 7th, nightly right here on the Stephanie Humphrey channel. I'll be bringing the word from our theme, From Surviving to Thriving, 3 John 2. And on Saturday is our in-person ladies only session, y'all. We have our Saturday sessions. We have 3 sessions with 2 workshops in the first 2 sessions, and the third session will be whole group. Y'all go to my website. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now. If you have not registered, go to the website and register today so that you can get into the workshop that you want to get into. There is limited seating in a few of the workshops, so you want to go ahead and register early, okay? Registration is absolutely free, y'all, but you must register, okay? You must register, okay? My aunt said I agree. Awesome. Thank you, Aunt Wanda. All right, y'all. Oh, last thing. I promise it's the last thing. Y'all, I told y'all preachers have about 10 closings. My book is being released on October 10th, a long time coming. It features book 1, book 2, and book 3 of a long time coming. Book 1 is a journey of life. Book 2 is a journey of love. And book 3 is a journey home. It is a story of Veronica Bailey as she graduates from early college with her associate's degree and her high school diploma, and it takes you through her life. Her mom, Veronica, is right there with her. Have y'all read the first 6 chapters yet? Have y'all read a preview yet on Roku? Not Roku, but on oh, now I can't even think. Now I got to look it up because now my mind is I'm stuck on Roku now. Kobo, thank you, Lord. Have y'all read the first 6 chapters yet? Have y'all read a preview so y'all know what the mama did, what Veronica's mom did for her and possibly to her? If you haven't read it, I will add it to the chat right now so you can read it because it is, I want to know what y'all think. Y'all parents, I want to know if that's something that you would do for your kids. Like it's a little wild, but you know, she did it. But anyway, y'all, and so if you haven't gotten the book, if you haven't read the preview, I'm going to add the preview to the chat now. If you haven't pre-ordered your book, go ahead and do it now. Pre-orders are available on my website at determinedpublishing.com. The pre-order price is $25. The after October 10th price, I think I'm going to move it up to like $28, I think. But right now it's $25. You get, look, this is a thick book, y'all. You get all 3 books in one. And again, it takes you on her journey as she transitions into adulthood. Her mom, her mom, Victoria, is there. Mom Mona and Brandon are there. Mr. Harold is there. Her friends, Janice and Chantel, are there. Chantel's boyfriend, Ralph, is there. Like, it's a lot of characters poured into this book, and all of them have their own personality, and it's hilarious listening to the conversations that the characters engage themselves in. It's a lot of teasing, a lot of friend fun, a lot of family fun, a lot of life situations happening in this book. Oh my goodness. Dimitri is in this book as well as Dalton. Like, there are so many characters in this book. And again, each of them are so unique, and I think they're entertaining. And it's just a lot of family fun, a lot of friend fun, a lot of romantic fun. Yes, there's some things happening on the romantic realm. It just is what it is. The characters are still working out their soul salvation with fear and trembling. If you are a Christian that don't think Christians have flaws, this book is not for you. I'm just trying to tell you, it's not for you. But if you know we have struggles, we have flaws, we're going through some things, then you might want to read this book because it's probably for you, okay? So again, go to my website, go ahead and pre-order your book, A Long Time Coming, releases October 10th. I am going to have a special edition of the Stephanie Humphrey channel on October 10th. And I will probably read the book. I have an idea about having some guests over. I'll talk to them this weekend about it. And so we're just gonna have a good time, all right? All right, y'all, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. You all, I will see you all next Thursday. Actually, I will not see you next Thursday. No, I will not. I will not see you next Thursday. It is the 5th Thursday. It's September 29th, and I'm gonna take a break. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm gonna take a break. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Okay, look, y'all, I do have one more thing. I promise it's gonna be the last thing. Abbott Elementary premiered last night, y'all. Did y'all see it? It comes on ABC at 9 p.m. Quentin Brunson is a Black creator. She is the creator, writer, executive producer of the show. It's about an elementary school in Philadelphia. Y'all, they had their Eagles. I started to call my cousin and her husband because her husband is an Eagles fan. And so they had their Philadelphia Eagles gear on last night. I love the way they opened the show last night. They actually included children with varying abilities in the show last night. So that was a check plus to Abbott Elementary. Y'all, get you some at Abbott Elementary. Let me put it in the chat. Abbott, ABBOTT, Abbott Elementary, 9 p.m. on Wednesday. It is so good. Just watch it one time. And if you don't like it, that's okay. But at least watch it one time with me next Wednesday. If the Lord bless us to live to see it, watch it with me next Wednesday at 9 p.m. It is so good. Okay? All right, y'all. I promise I'm done. I will not see you on September 29th because I'm going to be chilling. I'm going to be taking that nap that I be talking about so much taking because I'm tired on a Thursday. I'm going to be chilling. But I will see you on October 6th for the pocketbook exchange. Yeah. I will see you October 6th for the pocketbook exchange. Yeah. Y'all, let me let y'all go. Good night, y'all. I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. The Lord bless us to live to see. Y'all be blessed. Take care of yourself. Take care of other people. If you have to tell people no, it's okay to tell them no. It's all right to have the ministry of no, but take care of you. It's only one you, so take care of you. All right, y'all.